InShalla and Ashe. Blessings to you, my energetic beings. I am Tonya D, holistic Sha'medium and subtle energy surgeon, merging the indigenous technologies with the energetic fields and whatnot, basically the subtle energy fields. If you have yet to subscribe to my YouTube channel, please do. And if you have, blessings and gratitudes out to you. It helps to echo it out into the universe, what's called the algorithm. But also in some other musing news, Voices of the Other World. What is that actually? It's basically the connection with nature's, the elementals, the beings in nature, the elemental spirits, along with the subtle elements and the galactic frontier, and so much more, really. It's kind of like my own personal cosmic soup and how I work in the field. So it really is playtime for me. But welcome to the solstice point. Today marks the winter solstice, which really marks the beginning of the astronomical winter in the northern hemisphere, and we sure got dumped on. But this is where the temperature drops and nature really creates this entirely new otherworldly world. And only in winter can we see and experience some of the truly unique wonders of this stillness, the stillness of the chill and the inner insight of the elementals, the beings that are elemental in the winter. And the day really is the most amount of darkness before the day starts to slowly become filled with more light. So everything really lays dormant in the silence of the earth. And two, for us, it kind of is a sacred time for rest and along with reflection, like the mirror. So before, this awakening really occurs, it's a great time to just explore yourself deeply and really uncover your true powers and also your gifts. And then soon you get to bring them forward and out into the light of the day and illuminate your path forwards. So solstice really means sun stands still. So in this dark kind of logic and plain sight, it's all useless. And we get to navigate by the diffuse and the reflective attention of the moon along with the stars, bringing a deep penetration into the silence and to knowing and just knowing that what lives in our bones and emanates from our dreams, and just recognizing that we are no longer really who we used to be and not still who we will be yet to come. We are both and yet we are neither, but we are perfectly between all of these things. Even if in the distant, dimly at first, these abilities possibly that you never had during the day are actually coming alive. So when we used to seek leadership outside of ourselves, now it's us. We get to decide that voice. And fear really is becoming our strange little ally as we learn to honor and kind of cradle this soft underbelly of what that is. We have the instinct and we have this mystical pull of our feelings along the way. So we can now kind of sense the density of objects, the form of the energy and the matter, and around the hearing of the songs and the stones and the things that are really even before us that were left. So for us, it's time to be brave. And at this solstice, we're holding a crossroads. And others, maybe they're anxious, waiting to arrive. Just praise your vastness and the uncertainty from which all meaning is actually born. So we hold our own light. Even in the very darkest hours, this light still lingers. And also today being the first day of the season of Capricorn, so our fears are coming online, and our trials and our tribulations and our leadership skills and where those manifest in our natal chart. But as the shift between these seasons happen, you just might feel obstacles towards your future, your beliefs coming out to play. So it's kind of a day to validate what your heart feels, those feelings, validate those emotions to be true through authenticating those beliefs in your heart space. So set your foundation, really make it concrete, and shift your narrative, rewrite that script of your heart's beliefs so they do become your true, authentic reality. So today we get to commit to the season of Capricorn, the voice inside of us that leads. It's our leadership skills. It's where we get to practice the things we've done or the jobs we get to do and set our personal boundaries within ourselves so we can really achieve the juice authentically, just taking care of ourselves in our daily lives. So, just kind of feel into areas of your life where you should be taking or being more responsible for yourself first, because that's kind of where it's starting at. But in the elemental realm, I found quite curious as well, who's on first. But we have this Yin Water Rabbit. It's a very yin day going inward. It's actually cold as well. So there's no fire in the branches or stems to heat or bring any warmth to our inner constitution. So yin energy is inner constitution. It's inside of us, where the yang is our outer world. So this is water that flows with grace, that yin energy. It's not raging water. So it's this nice, slow moving river. It's always flowing. Streams underneath the river. But the rat is also a friend to this yin water day, because it's a yin rat, which is water. So this is probably an altruistic kind of person. So our day has flow again. However, that yang metal on the stem of the month, that's kind of a blockage of metal to support our day. It's an obstacle. So the water is there, but there's an obstacle in the way. But the rabbit, similar to the energy of yesterday, the tiger, you don't see them rushing out to be in the limelight, trying to be seen. This energy simply comes to them because of their presence. So you wouldn't think that they have any self-esteem issues that they deal with. But if you were to ask them, they do actually, in varying degrees. Sometimes this is the very thing that pushes them to the greatest heights. And lots of them are really overachievers, always seeming to light on their own feet or land on their own feet. And also, even when they're challenged as well. So they're born at daybreak, the year or the month, and the rabbit really has a true sense of who they are, their selves. If it's positive in the emotional chamber, they can secure their self-worth, and they also have self-esteem if it's established in their youth. So you're valuable, and you don't have to sacrifice yourself for the sake of others, and you have a positive sense of self-love. You feel good, and you're clean. You're probably structured and organized. However, if your emotions were negatively raised in your childhood or your youth, your early environment, that could actually made you feel like you were unclean about yourself, that there was something shameful about you from which you couldn't really escape from because it's in your environment. So when children hear the same thing repeatedly, it becomes taken in subconsciously. Being born at daybreak, the childhood environment kind of holds different levels of unworthiness. So some rabbits, if it was mild, sometimes others severe, and at worst, they feel unworthy to take up the space that our body requires in this physical dimension. So you might have had parents or teachers who always talk down to you, possibly saying things like someone is too good for you. So it's this intrinsic kind of shame, feeling defective, like you're broken in a way, that no matter what you do, you just can't get clean enough in a way, that you are defective kind of merchandise, that you came in this way, and that's why there's nothing you can do about it. But the body is magical, and our large intestine is the energy that actually processes this waste, which is why people born at this time have issues with not being clean enough, because of this kind of neurosis that can develop. So to transform this is the good part, right? This is where the juice is. It's realizing that you too are an aspect of the oneness, the greater spirit. That one drop of water in the galactic ocean is a galactic being, just like being a piece of a star from the galaxy, right? So we are sacred space with our divine talents to express during this time on Earth, which is actually pretty magical in the cosmic soup. And just realizing that we are actually in our own personal sacred space and outside of us as well. And we all have this energy somewhere. It's where we tend to have self-esteem issues kind of crop up. Are you enough? Can you do the job good enough? Sometimes it's where we will sacrifice for others, but it's also where we can be put down really by the people in our inner life who represent these areas, and where we can also have neurosis or have people mirror this back to us. So I would say create sacred space. You are worthy, and you are absolutely enough. So, with that part, as we enter the season of Capricorn, the coldness of winter, and just re examining our life, the aspects of management, direction, leadership, things that correlate to the 10th house in astrology. So, this aspect right now, we have Pluto and we have Venus retrograde. So, there's a lot of juice going on here. Plus, we're about to have another square between Uranus and Saturn. So, this is the cosmic soup, right? It's the galactic corridor that's shining down, brimming on ourselves. So, what do we do here? So, our inner garden is really creating sacred space. And this is where we go into the past and into the now. Maybe we look at our younger self and we explore decisions that we made that probably weren't for our highest good. However, we are in the school of the earth plane, so it's time to have compassion, and it's a day to take some deeper exploration into those realms and look inside and into those trials and tribulations, things that you absolutely might fear, and observe your boundaries in life, your leadership skills, and what does that even mean? So, if you have poor boundaries, energetic or otherwise, boundaries are generally things that we don't see. But since we're in Capricorn, it's boundaries with things we fear, things we might commit to, our leadership skills. I would even say adversity, really. But that would mean that you make commitments or promises that you don't honor your word, you don't keep. Or you go back on your word. Or you allow other people to take over your commitment to yourself, trying to get you to do what they want you to do. And it's not in alignment with your own heart space. So you kind of want to ask yourself, in what area of your life do you allow others to control, or are you strict? So my mom actually is a Capricorn, strict but very insightful. So where is the boundary line between those two? The in control and the out of control aspects. And this is really a thing. People are either boundary less or over boundaried. So what is your own personal boundary policy? Do you take the time and the space to draw your personal line? Do you take the time or the space to think about the safety of your own personal life? Our inner child, does she need the love? Maybe upcycle your creativity and change your own personal romance to yourself in your future story. What does that look like? So the course of loving ourselves and our creative self, this is where we then become a watcher from the other dimensions, or the witness of this energy coming to you. So you might just need to witness where the boundaries for yourself are needing an upgrade or an install. That's why I was a little snippet off, but I got on late. That's what that means. I had to do an install. So, it's like, do you need to protect loving yourself in the long term, in the long future range, and really make that commitment to yourself? So we all need sacred space and we all need energetic boundaries. So today is a day where we seek where we need to upcycle, both in our leadership area, being a boss, being a manager, even being a parent, just being an elevated human being, right? So that's kind of the energy of the day, is upcycling our boundaries. And also we have a new angelic being, which I'm going to muse about for a little while. But this is Archangel Azrael, whom God helps. So this is the angel of death who brings death to all the things, but also one of the sweetest angelic beings that is to assist when it's really our time to cross over the bridge. And it shows us also the different stages in life where we get insight into all the events and the stages that we've actually faced in our entire journey. Takes our soul away from this realm, the material, to attain a different form of resurrection, really. But of all the archangels, this one is actually often the most misunderstood. As with all beings of this caliber and this nature, the name Azrael actually translates more than just whom God helps, but the angel of God, but also the angel of death, or the angel of destruction, and also renewal. But what is the role of this archangel Azrael? Being that one of his roles is the angel of death, to assist, to guide souls from the physical to the spiritual. So some people call him or the Grim Reaper, but you also might find his role being performed as Anubis, that jackal-headed god of the ancient Egyptians, Anubis. I remember a story about Anubis, but Anubis would leave the souls of the dead from the physical world to their final judgment, the weighing of our heart space. So we often imagine an angel of death or the grim reaper as being somehow responsible for death, as if their presence alone is the one that causes the death to actually happen. Even though death really isn't the end, we often just fear it. We fear the unknown, basically. But we should also find comfort in the fact that Azrael is going to be there to guide us. And without him, souls would actually become lost in the void between life and death. I actually talk about two sides of the coin of life and death in the other world. But honestly, there's a reason for this function for him. But I'm going to explore more about Azrael tomorrow as well. It's Secrets of the Other World. That's where I talk about life and death. Secrets of the Other World. It's because I'm doing Voices of the Other World next, which is super juicy. But the cards of the day, we have the lion roaring there, and the ground is shaking, and the clouds are fluttering, and we've got these bamboos that are swaying in the wind. And the Chinese, they understand the hidden strength of the bamboo. Even though it might appear very delicate and elegant, it really is. It's a very yin energy. It's flexible and it's strong. However, I do happen to not get my bamboos to live as long as most people. However, it really is a source of this unobtrusive power to the outside, kind of swinging in the wind and just bouncing gracefully back, bringing back the soft ruffle of the leaves. So it's a yin energy, and that really is yin energy. You know, if a strong wind comes for a big strong tree, it generally could lose a branch, but the wind with a bamboo, it will sway over and retake its shape. But the lion, it roars and the birds are startled and they're kind of flowing all over in the base of this card here. And the Virgin took half a step forward, and she's flexible too, like the bamboo. So it's like this step by step without fear. And she's got this beast, and their eyes are kind of glazing into each other. And the lion roars again in the blue sky, and there's this claim of authority and ownership and dominance to anyone that can hear it. It's kind of like the echo, right? But she's smiling and she's approaching, and she has her hands gently touching this golden mane of the lion, right? So this card really is about courage and calmness and patience and passion, ability, and just being in skillful control. But it's better to kind of restrain conflict, to control our anger and violence, than to actually be controlled by them. This is really where taking a pause and time and space really actually works. So we really need to have faith in our own success. It's not going to come at the same time, and oftentimes it's not easy. But the lion shows the ferocity and the fire, the energy of fire that it guards, right? So strength sometimes needs to be soothed, fire energy, but there's a variety of different kinds of strength as well. So the source of the burning and the power that appears brutal, the power of this animal and the teeth and the claws and the protection, also by the wings of the swan. So this is a persistent power of those oak trees. It grows from the head. It's gradually growing to become this galactic tree. We have the strength of the bamboo. That's also flexible. It's yin. It's assimilated. And it creates this solid energy, which easily can't be broken. So we have this confidence, this inner strength, action, patience, self-discipline, protection, courage, all the juice is really here. And there's a lot of endurance. That's the yin energy as well. So just kind of looking at the card, we can see the image of a woman kind of taming this fierce lion with this calm and gentle expression. And even in the Chinese, the architecture there's a lot of, I guess I would call them gods or statues, sphinxes. And they're really popular all over the world whenever somebody mentions different Chinese cultures. But they appear easily in the mind. It's like the rise of the phoenix, the tigers, the dragons, even the turtle. But the origin of the statues, sometimes it's thought to be foreign, but there's lots of stories and theories in West Asia and India, and just different stories regarding the lions, and everyone, mostly they think of the Chinese culture. But, the concept of the Chinese and the meaning of the lions and the stones, it kind of corresponds to the original meaning of the strength card. So the lion stones come up with these fierce looks to guard the tombs and to not let anyone invade them, but it only expresses the power of the lion, not the tame of that lion. So even according to Buddhism, the lion is given the meaning as the symbol of strength, the majesty, but tame, and it supports the Dharma. So the lion stone was kind of introduced in Vietnam in the Lai dynasty. So its origin came from India, but there's different forces, and fierce, thorny lions. Sometimes soft, extremely meticulous. There's all kinds. Like I have 2 foo dogs, I think, in my bedroom. But, this kind of fits the image of this card because it shows us the strength, and it's just having the knowledge about different, I would just say different cultures and environments, really. But just returning to the lion, the strength, the characteristic, the image of strength, it's slender, it's this strong woman who's gently caressing, and she's taming this fierce lion. So this kind of evokes courage that women have, and patience and control that really make the lion like lie down at her feet. And the lion, is generally seen as this wild, dangerous, fierce, instinctive animal, but it's always in a state just being ready to damage any other creature, just to illuminate and show its power. But, just as a kitten under the hands of the lady, if you have any cats, it's because of the love and the softness that she's been able to tame this wild lion. So whether it's a person or an animal, there's invariably a need for love. And the image of the bamboo shows the power of the flexibility. And the bamboo also has this slender shape, and, it won't break under a strong wind, actually. But it's because of the flexibility, the yin energy to bend in the direction of the wind. But that doesn't mean that it's tilted by the wind, because the roots are strong. It's these retaining of the roots. So it's showing us the flexibility and the skill in communication. While at the same time, the image also gives another thought about the definition of human. So why is it human and not person? So each and every one of us has an inner child part. It's the ego, the very natural desires, our very instinctive emotions that whenever or whatever reason is out of control, those are effortlessly revealed. So this is the case for everyone. But it's important whether or not they know or we know how to control it. And this makes kind of each person different and outstanding in their own way. And the control is also kind of a milestone, a mile marker, making people's awareness kind of different from animals. So strength is this message to spread out and really persevering through our own self-image. So the lion, being part of the zodiac as well, is focusing their eyes on the others, and it's always proud and full of power. So when strength appears, it's kind of often related to relationships. So it also might be trying to remind us of restraining our own ego and being more tactful and sympathize with others. If it appears in favorable positions, it's calm, it's confident in its appearance. I think for me, because it's at the beginning of what I just pulled, that's kind of like where we're at or where we're coming from, right? So it's just being a win-win for everyone. And it obviously brings the message of strength as well. Strength is like our potential power that everyone has. So it's the power also sometimes that we hide deep inside. It can become a sharp weapon to overcome things, whether it's love, social relationships, obstacles. That's what I would call them in a divination. But it brings the message of energy and power through the image of this woman controlling that fierce lion, which she's tamed with love, right? So this image is like a struggle between our inner child and also the rest of us. So it's this fight against being self-indulgent or selfishness. And sometimes that's the biggest battle, the shadow, but we have to make use of all of our resources really to win. But it's also the calm face within the greatest power within us. It's giving that peace to pause. So, this is a sign of huge courage to resist what appears difficulty in life with confidence and having calmness in all of the situations and problems. Generally, pat ourselves on the back. It's something to be proud of. And it's also confirming that we've been persistent, we've been responsible. So taking those traits with us is a treasure, and letting them flow forward, actually. So that one's super awesome. And then I've pulled this card many times in all the decks, but we have the Queen of Pentacles. So she's got this desire to look after and nurture others. So we have a bunch of women today, by the way, but this card's full of generosity, a warm soul. She's spreading out her arms to embody and just reminding us of our own embodiment, representing the feminine, creative, energetic source energy. She's devoted, protective, trustworthy, honest, all the juice. But she's also holding the safety of the material, and she's holding her position in society. So the Queen of Pentacles is always willing to give her support to anyone who's asking for it. And she really holds the power of the old oak tree, coming from the Strength card. So, which, we can see is part of her body in this card, or maybe it's a part of her in essence. But she's always willing to share her own innate source of power, her gold, her energy. That's the soul's harmonic that comes from life and the warmth of the sun itself, the golden egg in the sky. But also in the branches, we can transform this energy to its purest form. Take it in, just always taking it in, the essence of the wind, and just rustling around through the songs, the murmurs, the otherworldly voices. However, in relation, the Queen of Pentacles is about nurturing. It's about embodiment. It's warmth. It's generosity. It's being down to earth, fidelity, prosperity, creativity, wealth, words like that. But like every other court card, it represents oftentimes a person in our real life. It could be somebody who's had a great impact on our life as well. So the energy of this card usually carries a female person's warmth, the family, motherhood. And it also is implying that, we need to spend some time or money or energy with our family and just make it more comfortable and also more peaceful. So this is really the season, some good advice to take, as long as, we don't fall into debt for all of these purposes. A lot of people will come to you maybe to be enlightened and even ask for your advice. That's also a signal in this card. And you should be able to help them, possibly, if you're ready. But this is when we can gain a lot of achievements, and that this card represents an actual female, a person. The queen who appears is intelligent, generous, realistic. So this card being in the middle is also a reminder that we need to pamper ourselves, be more generous, not just with ourselves, but those around us. But it also represents our talent and our kindness, which is also an energy of the rabbit, kindness. I always like that about the wood energy. Kindness is one of the things there, to be kind. But, sometimes we are the one who desires the best for ourselves and also those around us in our village. But it also carries this positive signal as well. And it also embodies being conservative. Maybe you're a watcher. Maybe you don't dare to escape safety within your circle, your net. You draw the circle around yourselves. Maybe you could narrow down a point of view, or you could achieve more than you even expected. But the message really is showing this smart, talented female, this feline, this woman, this queen. She's intelligent, she's knowledgeable, she possesses these innate gifts and talents, and she's closed herself in fear of dangerous things approaching her, where no one else is kind of considerate and thoughtful like her as well. But her greatest wish, her gift, is to take care of others and to ensure that they are truly happy and safe. So her home's always full of children, pets, trees, elemental beings, friends. But there are qualities that really emphasize kind of a rationality and reality that are radiating from her core. So she's also loyal. She's very consistent. Because she is reliable, she's this reliable person, other people always put their trust in her. So when you are hurt or need help, she's the one that can calm your fears. You can share your troubles. you know, and this card is also, in a way, it's this wisdom card where you receive those rewards for your own innate wisdom. You just have to be careful in your decision making because of fear of bad influences or serious, you know, it could be somebody even at work, really, as well. And she helps us to avoid the mistakes that others often make. So, this is kind of a stage where we get to enjoy our fruits of our labor as well. So it really is a female lineage here today. Then I have the Three of Wands, which I think I've pulled this card before, but this is the bridge that reaches to the edge of the world, the otherworldlies. And the lower steps below are kind of the temptations of curiosity and are you ready to embark on a journey? So it's bent across the sky, but then it doesn't go much further. So she's standing on this borderline and she's hesitating and she's wondering also where she's going. But there's sunlight overhead and it's radiating and shimmering and just outstretching beyond the river and reflecting down the hill out into the distance. So it's like a crystal with endless energy that's slowly rising and it's bringing in this eternal light, like all the potentials that she has. And we're waiting from deep within ourselves, within our every breath and every moment, and just the ability that either discourages us or encourages us. So this is kind of like being aware of the hidden potential in all of the things. And she's looked at the wands of the travelers. So it's a traveling card as well. And it also could be that from this position, they see something and they turn away and they leave. Maybe a threat of what's going to happen next or something. So she's kind of hesitating for a moment. She's not wanting to look down and she's kind of stepped into a place of she's going inner. But she's felt the strong rocks and the clay. She's feeling the earth. And she's realizing that this bridge is gradually just perfected from the steps and the dreams of other beings, not necessarily herself. So she's taking in this deep breath. And then again, she begins to take that first step. And just like that, step by step, this bridge grows below her feet. So through this, the message here really wants us to explore, search for new things, expand into the new horizons and discovery, and broadcast our vision in all of our situations and just show our leadership, especially being the first day of the season of Capricorn, leaderships and skills and managers. It's corporations too, but I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. So words that relate to the Three of Wands would be like our first reward, professional development, being competent, being satisfied of our hard work, being recognized, confidence, right? So it's really a card of opportunity, which can be an opportunity for the relationships we have between a person or somebody you might have a crush on. Sometimes it's in business, sometimes it's in work. But really, no matter what it is, if you want to succeed, we really have to take this opportunity like now. It's urgent. It's like this urgency. But it could also suggest a new location, a new environment. Could also bring the new opportunities as well. So yeah, the opportunities will appear through like visions, obviously, a new place or an idea. Could even make an old place, an old road that you might be on more effective. But it's also the opportunity to turn obstacles into opportunities or actions, making them more essential. So there's, just filling into that. So it's also teamwork. Maybe you have to or you should complete a task, whether your partner makes you feel good or not, kind of thing. And it really shows us opportunity for me anyway, that's what I'm thinking of. Opportunities that broaden our horizon through travel, entrepreneurial, learning, doing something different, maybe. Stepping out on a path that we don't know what's below our feet. And just being more aware of the opportunities that really exist around us. They might just be better than we think. And we can look, at these opportunities and know that they're at our side in the present world, and it's time to put out our ambitions out into the future. So you could also consider, what you could do to open a new door and develop these different opportunities. Um, they could be, changes or shifts. Most people think change or shift is a challenge, but it really is an opportunity. I always say there's magic on the other side of fear. Um, but also, it's strengthening and building our plans and creating a higher future. Yeah, it's creativity. So, having strong support around you and having a different opportunity through the vision of the female again on the card. I told you these were all female cards. But sometimes, we have to seize the opportunity. We have to get out of our comfortable zone. We have to get uncomfortable. Um, so just take, the opportunity to vision and look at things differently through new eyes. Obstacles and opportunities, right? So, with all of that, the affirmation I would say for the day with the sacred space of the rabbit and the waters, I would be something like, I am protected in my sacred space in relation to the universe. And hold that space true that you have Azrael around you as well. And even in the darkest of darks, there is always light. And InShalla, Ashe, I will see you on the other side, and make it a happy solstice day.